The bird doesn't sit on the branch because it trusts the branch, but because it trusts its wings to catch it. It's not about the branch. It's not about what I'm standing on, but it's about my wings, my abilities that are going to catch me. So if all of it goes away tomorrow, I can rebuild everything because I have those wings, I have those skills.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mina Alais, aka the Egyptian Prescription, and today I have an amazing guest that I brought on. So I've been trying to add value to the channel. I'm bringing people who are better than me to add more value to the channel so you guys can learn. So I have a very good friend, Justin Cobb. Justin's done some amazing stuff. I'm not gonna explain what he's done, but really when he told me his story, I was blown away. So I said, let's bring him. He can talk about his story, and then at the same time, you guys can learn from what he's doing. So Justin, welcome to the channel.
Thanks, Mina. And I would just start by saying that I think I've learned a lot more in this relationship so far from you than you have from me.
I don't know about that, but I'm happy always to contribute, man. So tell us like a little bit about yourself.
I graduated college and was going to go to law school. And my deal with my parents was I was going to take a year, and I was playing in a band. I was going to see if I could make it playing music, after which I would go to law school if it didn't work out. During the course of that year, my bandmates and we were driving a Volkswagen bus around the country, and it broke down and we needed money for a new engine. I think it was $2,100 or something like that. So we all agreed that we would go get jobs, and we each get, I think it was $531 each to be exact. And then we would come back together and we'd go back out, and my dream of being Bob Dylan would continue. And so I took a job selling coupons door to door in Boston. And this is like November 4th, I want to say, 2002. So it was like right in the beginning of the winter. I'm selling coupons for Domino's Pizza and Blockbuster Video and other local companies. And the idea was it was cash daily. It seemed like an easy way for me to get my $500. Lo and behold, after 10 days of doing this job that, was a little bit bizarre. At first, I have $500. I'd never worked and saved $500 before. And so I was really excited. I called up my bandmates. I said, I got mine. Do you have yours? And they hadn't even gotten jobs yet. So I walked back in the next day. They said, I thought you quit. I said, I'm back. I said, what's your new goal? It was this business that's an opportunity-based business where if you did well, you could get your own office and you could take this business wherever you wanted to. And so they would always ask, like, what are your goals? What are your goals? And I'd say, I want to make $531. So I walk back in the next day and they say, what are you doing here? I thought you quit. And I said, I got a new goal. And they said, what? I said, now I need $1,593.
Which is three more or two?
That's three more. Yeah, I figured my bandmates might not get jobs. So after, I don't know, a month and a half, I'd saved like $2,000-$3,000. And it was just an amazing feeling. Like the first time you work for something, and it's obviously really hard work, right?
How was it? How was the door to door? Like, do you feel like you learned a lot of like, anti-rejection type stuff?
I loved it. Is that like, it was what it was. It was you were in a different place every day. You dealt with different types of people. I grew up in a pretty sheltered environment in like a upper middle class beach town in Connecticut, and had been around what I'd been around. And it was fascinating. Like one day you'd be in an area where everyone speaks Korean, and you have to figure out a way to sell 10 of these certificates with the coupons. And that would take real creativity. And I'm a competitive guy. I played sports. I wrestled in college. And so it just gave me a different place to compete at. It was enjoyable. And the business I started in, the guy who was sort of like the example, who had taken this business really, really far, turned out he had wrestled at the same college as me, the same weight class right before I left. So he gets up and he's running this meeting, and he's like 27 and he's making, I don't know, 15, 20 grand a week. And he's telling the story. And I realized I've seen this guy's name on the wrestling room wall at college. So it's this kind of like serendipitous thing. Wow. And so when I'd saved, and not that like every day is awesome doing door-to-door sales, but there was amazing moments. And to your point, yes, you learn how to deal with rejection. And the first time that you take a really tough no, or someone's really rude to you, you take it very personally. And then over time, you realize that you shouldn't take it personally, and it can screw up your whole day. Then the second time it screws up an hour, and then screws up 10 minutes. And then it doesn't, then it gives you fuel. That's definitely been hugely beneficial. And somehow over time, I'm taking that business and taking it all over. I opened my first business in Charlotte. Then I went to Atlanta, then London, then the north of England.
So what were you doing with that business?
So we acquired clients. Now we have thousands of people, hundreds of offices. We're all over. I moved to England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Poland. We're growing sales teams. Now in America, we're in just about every Walmart and Best Buy. When you go to the electronics section and there's people in a kiosk selling telco services for example, for Spectrum or for AT&T. When you go to downtown city centers across America and you see charity fundraisers, a high percentage of those are fundraisers that are part of the network that I, have trained. We've raised over $3 billion, we estimate, for charities over the last 10 years, all over. We started buying and building software businesses to leverage the sales force. A couple of my partners and I, most notably in 2017, we bought a company called moneyexpert.com, which is a price comparison site for anything related to home. So energy, telco, credit, life insurance, pet insurance, refi, mortgage, etc. That we had a lot of success with that. And yeah, it was an 18-year mission. I didn't even have a passport until I turned 27. The next day I lived in England. After landing in England, that was 07, 08, where like the bottom dropped out of the economy. We went in 3.5 years, opened up 137 offices in 10 countries, moved to Spain, learned Spanish, met my wife, who's incredible, had our first child in Barcelona. It was really like, you know, a kid who grew up in a 14,000 person town. It was really like, it was awesome. You know, it was like, what a way to experience a lot of stuff that people from where I'm from normally wouldn't get to.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing what sales can do. Then you got to this point where you're like, okay, I'm done. You're content and you wanted to move on to the next thing. That's what Carbon6 is about.
My partners kind of not pushed me out, but so COVID starts and initially we're really scared. We talk to people face to face. That's obviously deeply problematic to the start of COVID. So what are we going to do? Are we going to lose everything? And everybody pulled. Walmart said, you can't be here anymore. All the charities pulled. And then we had to fight for those PPP loans. And we had a really difficult decision to make. Should we make everybody unemployed and have them fight for the government money themselves? Or should we do it for them? Proudly, we chose to make no one unemployed. We kept paying everybody's bills, kept paying everybody's wage, that they were the average what they were making. And we fought like crazy and we got all the individual offices, the loans. And then a month or two later, we got back in the field. And we've doubled in size since then because all of our competitors made everyone unemployed. During the course of that, I had several partners who have moved all over with me. And they said, hey, we'd love to take the reins from here and be the people who are running the meetings and be the people who are more involved day to day. You've done so much for us from a mentor level. Let us take it from here. Around that time, I moved to Puerto Rico with my family. And now I went from 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing at this mission to having a lot more time on my hands than I had recalled. And I knew very little, Mina, about e-commerce. And this was only, a year and a half ago. But everything I saw for 2 months was e-commerce. I got pitched by several of the FBA aggregators, some Shopify app aggregators, a guy who was going to roll up agencies in Amazon, and met several Amazon sellers in my neighborhood. And what was glaringly apparent, you Googled Thrasio, 4 minutes later, you realize this is a big industry. There's big stuff going on. Met several sellers, was just amazed at the scale that they'd grown their businesses to and how small the staff was, right? I mean, I had thousands of people and thousands of people's kind of problems that were all my problem. And I'd say, Brendan, tell me about your business. And it was like him and, a few people, partners and virtual assistants that he'd met. It was unbelievable the scale to which you were all able to grow your businesses and how little human capital was involved in that. And so I became really interested and then realized that the language, the things you're looking for. I mean, I remember you and I spoke and you're talking about your motivations and, freedom and ability to travel. And you just got off an amazing trip. We were all following it on Instagram in Hawaii. I actually got married in Hawaii. But the language that I'd been speaking in this opportunity sales and marketing business was the same language that you all speak. And so unlike when I moved to Spain or when I moved to Poland, I felt like I didn't learn a new language. I felt like I already knew the language and the opportunity seemed huge. And then I looked at everything that was happening on the aggregator side with the brands and said, why are more people not doing this on the software side? Because when I talked to sellers, they credited automation and software, some that was built internally, some that they would have subscriptions for so much of their success that it just seemed like a really obvious business to start. And as the person who had a lot of ambition and wanted a new target to go after, it's been a lot of fun.
Amazing. And so what's the problem you're trying to solve?
We want to make it easier for e-commerce sellers to make money. We want to become the operating system for e-commerce sellers. We want to help millions of entrepreneurs all over the world be able to scale their business and get to a better point than they're at right now. One of the things that is incredible about e-commerce is it's one of the great equalizers, right? When you can fundamentally change someone's socioeconomic status in not just a generation, but in 4 years or 5 years or 2 years, that was the most rewarding part of the partners that I mentored in my sales and marketing company. And to be able to do that and really spread it globally here from a laptop, it's a really incredible thing. And it's because there's been such big numbers, right? I met someone recently who sold his business for $54 million to boost it. I heard another story, 900 million. Because there's such big numbers, I think that sometimes maybe we forget, especially in this country, what a difference like an extra $400 a week can make to somebody. We ran a business in Portugal and we had 500 sales reps, and a teacher makes like 1,100 euros, which today is $1,100, depending on when this content comes out. So if that teacher can add a business where they make, maybe it's a merch by Amazon business, maybe it's an arbitrage business, maybe they get into wholesale, or maybe they have money that they can invest and get into private label, and they can make an extra $400 a week. That's life changing. That's the difference between their child who plays an instrument being able to go to camp or not go to camp, or be able to get a better instrument. That's the difference between Johnny being able to go to football camp or soccer camp, as we call it over here.
Dude, totally. Because I mean, one of my brands right now, I was looking at the P&Ls last month, and it generates $10,000 a month in profits. And it's me not doing anything, and one employee, like a brand manager that kind of does everything, one person from my PPC agency, a bunch of software. And I mean, when I was, to me, I'm like, dude, like I have so much bigger goals. But like, if you think about it, the average person, like Mina in 2016, if you said I was making $5,000 a month gross before tax, working, 45, 50 hours a week, commuting, if you told this guy, hey man, like you can work 2-3 hours after like building, you can work 2-3 hours a week, and this thing will make you money. Obviously, it's not stable forever, but it is doing it. And so it is life-changing. I totally agree with you, man. And I think this is why it is a huge industry. And the crazy thing is, every person that has been watching me from my old life, right, from my engineering life, and seen me go up, they're now hitting me and saying, hey man, like I think it's time. I want to get into like the Amazon space, like, and I'm happy like to share all my resources. I have like 41 videos, like kind of explaining all of this stuff, but I think it's going to be huge. So of course you're smart. You did
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Dude, I get it. It's like when we talk about it, it's like, it's not much, but like when you talk about it to people who this is their dream.
If I can add before you go, like, and that's the snowball, like that feedback loop of being able to help others. And there's like different people along for you with each one of those rides. And of course you with the agency. Those stories are the most amazing stories. We have a product called Zen Arbitrage, and it's a book arbitrage tool. And it's super simple. Like you can make money in line at the bank. You can make money at a red light. If you're on a Tesla and it's self-driving, you can make money even while driving. And it just sources FBM, the arbitrage opportunity between FBM prices and FBA prices, almost primarily for United States university textbooks, right?
Wow.
And we have a community call. Yeah, we have a community call, and the general manager who oversees that division for us, Philip, was talking to us after, and he was like crying because he had this emotional moment where the person on the other end who kind of given his like high roller speech was explaining what this had done for their family and what they were able to do. And it was medical bills, and it was a better decision with the doctor. And that was for like $1,500 extra dollars a month, or $1,700 extra dollars a month that they were making.
It doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much to change your life. So I want to kind of touch on, you did your due diligence. What are some of the pain points in the software space right now, and how did you guys, figure ways to overcome them?
So there's a few things. So a lot of the software has been built with the mass, depends on the customer you're talking about, but broadly speaking, there's a few different. So one is someone like you who requires a more sophisticated solution than, Kate, who just launched her first brand, are actually more interested in the data and kind of the business intelligence than you are in what people are paying a subscription for. So as the sophistication and kind of this enterprise layer, we'll call it, of large agencies and large brands and aggregators, as there's a consolidation that's happened, and just a maturity for someone like you that has very different needs than you did 5 years ago, because you have a different level of understanding. We don't believe that the sophistication's caught up in many different ways, and we want to be part of that solution. That's one. Number two is, from an education standpoint, as it's become more difficult for new sellers to sell online, We also don't believe that the education for those new sellers has caught up. I've met hundreds of people that talk about ASM1 and ASM2 and ASM3 and I'm ASM4. And we aspire to help solve that problem as well.
Yeah, I think that's a huge one. I don't think, I mean, the business intelligence stuff is amazing, but I really don't think that anyone has kind of taken the mission of being that central knowledge hub. I know there's a lot of other agencies and software companies that are really providing a ton of value, but this is the library that you go to for everything, you know?
And let me tell you why I think we're well positioned for that, Mina. Because, and this started out by accident. So it was myself and I reached out to Kazi, and I'd been the lead investor on Kazi's last business. He had just exited. I said, hey, Kazi, I think it's a huge idea. No one in the world I've met, I'd rather do it with. Do you want to do it with me? And then we ended up with Nassim, who is his buddy from Harvard Business School, and they've been friends for a long time. We knew we were an Amazon people. So our first mission was, let's keep all the founders engaged in the businesses that we're buying. It started out as a to cure a threat to our model with the founders that started. What it's turned out to be is we have hundreds of years selling experience on our roster as part of our team, right? We have hundreds of years experience on product. We have hundreds of years experience on working with the API. We have hundreds of millions of dollars in sales and exits, over $100 million in exits just with the members on the team that we have right now. And we believe that provides us a unique opportunity to have a wide array of voices that people have known and trust, and partner with amazing people like yourself, which we believe other companies have done a good job of in the with the community as well. And we think we're in a really unique position. And we didn't just go private label. We have tools in wholesale, arbitrage, merch by Amazon, KDP will be expanding to Walmart, Shopify, etc. We want to, like I said, become the operating system, the educational community for e-commerce sellers all over the planet.
Dude, this is amazing, man. This is incredible. So, okay, since we're on this note, where can people find Carbon6? Is it just carbon6.io?
Yeah, you can go to carbon6.io. We're hiring like crazy, so you can send an email to careers at carbon6.io. You can find me online too and send me a message directly. It might just be a suggestion, a pain point that you're having, something you think that we should develop, something that you think we could add to one of the tools that we have right now, something that you think isn't out there. We want to be the most client-centric, most responsive. It's not about being the most. We just want to be a very helpful tool for all of you as you guys want to, enter into the business, grow, scale, exit, repeat.
I love it, man. That's the perfect mindset to have is like the lead with value and be a resource. And then, the community will give back.
And Mina, I want to thank you personally. You've been an invaluable resource for us. You've helped me a lot. When we first met, I knew a lot less about the business than hopefully I do right now, but I still will continue to pick your brain and the other experts' brains to get up to speed on such an awesome industry you guys have really created.
Dude, I'm always here for you, man. All right. Peace out. Man.